Am I the asshole for not using my daughter's college fund to support my future grandchild? I, 45F, have been a single mother to my daughter, 18F, ever since her father passed away when she was a baby. It was hard pulling us through, but we made it. I finished my degree, earn a nice job with a high salary, and we now live comfortable. One of my priorities was setting aside a college fund for my daughter. Her father had started one when he found out I was pregnant, and I chose to add onto it once he passed. When she was 17, I sat down with her and told her that once she is ready for college to not worry because I and her dad have saved up money for her education. I told her this money could go towards tuition, housing, food, books, etc. She planned on moving into an apartment in the same state as the school and attending some online classes, some in person. Anything to make her college life comfortable and fun I was willing to offer. I wanted the best for her because when I went to college I struggled financially. She was grateful and thanked me. Obviously the pandemic has made school different for everyone and senior year of HS was difficult for her, but she was still accepted into one of the top schools in the nation, USA, and I was so proud of her. 4 days ago she sat me down and told me that she was pregnant. I was shocked because she was on birth control. I figured it was an accident. She's due in September, right when school starts. That meant we had to back out signing a lease for her future apartment and would have to stay home to raise the baby. Starting college with a newborn would have been a challenge, but doable. So I accepted it. Until later that night I overheard not eavesdrop her convo with her boyfriend. She told her boyfriend not to worry about supporting the baby, she would just use her college money for it. I also heard that she'd been lying to me. Turns out she decided to stop taking the pill simply because she wanted to switch to a different BC, but she didn't tell me. So for the past 3 months she's been picking up her because and she wasn't taking them. If she wanted to switch to something else like the implant or an IUD I would have supported it. I'm not some stuck-up prude. I was open to my daughter about protecting herself from STIs pregnancy, so this choice confuses me. Next night I told her that she and her boyfriend would have to find a way to support the baby because her college fund was for college only. She broke down, asking me how she was going to manage to support her baby when she nor her boyfriend had a job. I told her she should have thought about that before she spread her legs with no contraception. She called me a horrible mother and grandmother because I was setting them up for failure. I told her that I set her up for success, yet she chose the route which made things difficult for her. She told some other family members and are saying I'm the asshole and should think of the child. I replied that while I love my grandchild, I plan on staying firm about the college fund. But now I'm unsure. Am I the asshole? Edit. Holy crap, this blew up overnight. I wasn't expecting all of these comments, but thank you for each one that was on my side and thank you to the ones who called me out on my slut-shaming comment. I admit that was horrible thing to say. I will try to provide an update.
Not the asshole. She made her own decision getting pregnant and now it's time to live with the consequences. As long as you hold on to the money for if she ever goes to college you will fulfill that part. I am assuming though you will still support her and the baby but just not giving up the savings.
Not the asshole. She made that choice as an adult and needs to learn there are consequences. I decently like the comment about setting up a trust fund for the future grandchild. I'd ask your daughter if she ever plans on going to college, and if she doesn't plan on it, turn it into that grandchild's trust fund.
Not the asshole. She tried to scam you into paying for her planned teen pregnancy.
Not the asshole. Your money, your choice. But I wouldn't anticipate her and the baby moving out anytime soon. She broke down, asking me how she was going to manage to support her baby when she nor her boyfriend had a job. That's a great question she should have asked herself before. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. I may get hate but she clearly made the choice and now she just wants to have a guaranteed safety net? Nope, but what if you put it into a trust for your grandchild for their future education? She can't touch it and it's still for furthering education.
Not the asshole. How many times have we seen it play out on here where they get told I'm using X fund for blank reason you got yourself into, and the person comes back years later asking about X fund and whinging about how it's unfair they don't have that money now. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Keep the college fund. Even if it takes 2 or 12 or 20 or 42 years, one day she will be grateful for that chance at an education. She shouldn't have counted her chickens before they hatched. Now she needs to get it together and figure it out. Her boyfriend needs to get it together and figure it out. They chose not to use protection. Now they need to grow up.
Not the asshole daughter can't even support herself, let alone a child. Is she too far along for an abortion? Why would she even plan for a baby when she not even got an education or a job?
Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. Stay firm on this. It kinda sounds like she did this intentionally.
Not the asshole. Just a question, please don't downvote me, but is abortion an option? It doesn't sound like it was discussed, but her life is going to be so hard and she is just so young.
Not the asshole, don't enable. When you make the choice to have a child, everything is about the child, you come second. How is she going to support this child? She's just going to live off the college money forever? Sorry to say, your daughter really sounds like an idiot. The sooner she gets slapped in the face by reality and wakes up to the fact that she has a kid to provide for now, the better. Don't make it any easier on her, she'll just act entitled to your help forever.
Info: was the boyfriend planning on going to a different college away from your daughter? 'Cause honestly, it just sounds like your daughter wants to trap the boyfriend. This sounds so planned. She already decided that the college fund will be used to start her new life. Probably as a way for her to persuade the boyfriend that everything will be fine if they keep the baby. Give it a few days, sit her and the boyfriend down and let them know that this is all on them. You will not be contributing financially to their situation at all. I feel that as soon as the reality of the situation sets in, they might change their minds about continuing with the pregnancy. However, I still think your daughter is going to be mad for a while for ruining her plan.
Not the asshole, she made a conscious decision to lie to you and change her BC, which has caused this situation.
Not the asshole. Where there's a will, there's a way. Someone needs to get a job. They can't depend on you for everything.
Not the asshole. You were clear that the money was for college and associated costs. I would stand firm and not give it to her if she chooses to drop out. You could always put it in trust for your grandchild. She made a choice to get pregnant, which comes with responsibilities like getting a job, being financially stable, and maybe even having her own place. Not the asshole. She needs that slap of reality. Please let her know that she does not have to keep a child that she is not ready to support and raise by herself. Do not help her or give her a cent. She needs to put serious thought into whether or not she is able to raise and support this child by herself.
Not the asshole. She and her boyfriend made a choice, and now they have to deal with the consequences of that choice. I'm sure you will love that grandchild and help them take care of him or her, but I wouldn't give them a free ride.
Not the asshole. She's an adult and there are consequences for her actions. Nothing she did makes any sense, like intentionally getting pregnant at the age of 18 just makes no sense. The money you promised her was meant for her college education. I feel it sets a very bad precedent if you give her the money after her bad decision making and lying. It's like you were enabling her to continue with this behavior. Next night I told her that she and her boyfriend would have to find a way to support the baby because her college fund was for college only. This is the right thing to do. She called me a horrible mother and grandmother because I was setting him up for failure. I told her that I set her up for success, yet she chose the route which made things difficult for her. Can't agree more.
I'm really confused. She wanted to switch to a different birth control, so instead of scheduling an appointment with her OBGYN, she just stopped taking the pill. How is that switching birth controls?
Not the asshole. And while I'm very much so against the whole spreading your legs argument, her not using BC while fooling around is definitely on her and her boyfriend. Not the asshole. She's expecting boyfriend to stick around and that might not be the case. She is going to struggle in the long run if she doesn't get some kind of education. It doesn't have to be traditional, but she has to think of long term.
Not the asshole. She's not responsible enough to handle all of that money or a child. She needs to gain some responsibility. I think it's fantastic you want to help her raise the baby, and that's more than a lot of parents would do. Not the asshole, but her boyfriend sounds a bit shady. Him telling her that neither of them will have to work because they can just use her college fund. That part throws me off a bit. Is there a reason he doesn't have a job? I don't know if you and her have a great relationship, open relationship, but assuming that you do, or even if you don't, she should have just told you she wanted to switch types of birth control. Not the asshole, though she took that risk knowing it might lead to a pregnancy. Especially when she stopped taking birth control. Not the asshole, that money should still only be for her education. TBR, she should get an abortion. She is not mature enough for this.
Not the asshole. She manipulated you. I don't care what others say and hear about the legs comment. You can call her whatever you want at such a moment after finding out it was not an accident at all but something planned. It was far away in control in comparison to some parents that would have just thrown her out. She's an adult. Calling her out once with a harsh truth and in harsh tone is not going to break her. Especially when she definitely needs it. Not the asshole. She chose to be a baby mama. Now she needs to figure out a way to support her lifestyle. Not the asshole. You were being generous offering to pay for college. If she doesn't want to go, that's up to her.
Not the asshole. Do not spend that money on anything other than college. If she never goes, tell her it'll be there for her child to go to college. Her inability so support the child she just made is not your problem, although I'm sure she'll make it your problem. She's thinking like a selfish child because she's a selfish child. Don't let a selfish child make the decision to drain all the savings that more mature her may be able to use.
I tried to answer this, but I gave up. My parents have never loved me in my entire life, 1/4 of what you love this kid. I have never been pregnant, but if I was, would have literally been dead and buried on the ground. College. BWAHAHAHAHAHAHAHA. My dad told me literally to suck dicks for it. I have no idea or caliber to judge this. When I first started reading, I figured you were going to kick her out onto the street and laugh at her. That's what I would have gotten. If you're doing anything kind, you are way beyond what I grew up to expect. College. My dad bought my step-mom a BMW with my college money, tears of joy.
NTA. My mom had a rule: when me and brothers were in high school, you get pregnant or get a girlfriend pregnant, you're on your own.
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Tell the rest of your family members that this is none of their business. They didn't help you contribute to the college fund, so they get no say. Also, let your daughter know she didn't want their opinions when she made the decision to get pregnant. She shouldn't need them now. INFO. Is the money in an actual college fund? Like a fund where it isn't taxed and there are penalties for using the money for other stuff. ETA. Changed answer to not the asshole. Especially because the money can sit in that account untaxed for longer. Not the asshole. College funds are set up to prepare a child to be able to support themselves and their family. It is not money to support their children. Even if you hadn't discovered that she was deceitful, you still had the right to deny her. It's a shame, too, because she's just made her future so much more difficult than it could have been.
Think of this as a potential college fund for your grandchild.
NTA. You earmarked that money for her education, not to bankroll her poor decisions. She better start looking for a job.
Not the asshole. Might also be worth it to figure out how much boyfriend was actually involved in the planning. Was he aware she was off birth control, or was he also finding out in that conversation? If he knew, why are they only now talking about how to support the baby? Were they actually trying for a baby or just being extremely careless?
Do not let your child run over you and your life. Keep firm on your decision. Like you said, it's doable. She can't expect to live off of you and savings. She will have to learn to do just what you did. I don't think you're the asshole. Congratulations, Grandma.
Not the asshole. She needs to chuck it down the pan before it's too late.
I'm kind of suspicious, not going to lie. She was collecting and not taking her birth control for 3 months. 3 whole months, which is approximately 9 weeks. She had all that time to mention she wanted to change contraception. She actively said nothing. I find it hard to believe she simply forgot. How do you forget but still faithfully manage to go pick up the original every time right on cue? I wonder if her boyfriend knows she stopped taking it. Maybe try asking him. And this happens just in time for her to be due by the time for school to start. Maybe that is a coincidence, but something definitely seems really off here.
Not the asshole, but that doesn't fix the issue. Both of those kids need jobs yesterday. You didn't sign on to pay for a grandchild. You're trying to help your daughter invest in her future. Honestly, it might be best for her to put college on hold for a few years until she's more mature and has a better idea of what it's like in the real world. She will have experience with what jobs she likes, hates, and the money will be waiting for her.
Not the asshole. You are generous to offer to babysit. Not the asshole. Choosing to be a mother means choosing to be responsible for another human and planning how to provide for them. It does not mean accepting the title and pushing responsibility to parents others. She needs to plan for her child, and support the baby with her boyfriend. It's time she had a reality check. Which doesn't mean you can't or shouldn't help, but that should be supplemental to her plan, not the plan itself. This isn't for you to plan with his parents. It's for her to plan, and you to offer advice or guidance as needed.
How will we support the baby? Jobs. That's how law. I found out I had a baby on the way the same day I found out I got a basketball scholarship. I worked. Had no other choice. It sucked, yay. I don't think I slept the entire time I was in college. But that's life, yo.
She told her boyfriend not to worry about supporting the baby, she would just use her college money for it. Wow, the audacity. For this quote specifically, I feel like this is a rich person problem, because why else would you not actively want the father of your child to support their kid financially? Literally letting the guy off the hook if he later chooses to bounce. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Your daughter made a deliberate choice and she should face the consequences. She's lucky to have college money to start with. I think she doesn't appreciate the challenges of teen pregnancy.
Not the asshole. Your daughter wanted to be an adult, time to deal with adult consequences. I would suggest you sit her down together, maybe even with the boyfriend, and ask them what their plan is. Listen calmly. Then lay out what you will and will not do in terms of living, financial, other support. Let her know you have raised a child, you will not be raising another. Let them you are willing to help make a plan, but remind them of what you won't be doing. If the college fund comes up, remind her that it's for college, and should she decide to return for a higher education at a later point, if she chooses to put it off, she may have thought to use it while she took online courses and you supported her elsewise, and if she doesn't use it, it will be set aside for future grandchildren.
Not the asshole, and you should tell her that the plan has changed. The college fund will now go to your grandchild. I'm sure that she'll be happy to hear that at least the child won't have to worry about college expenses, especially since your poor grandchild has such an irresponsible mother. Since she's bold enough to lie and act irrationally, then she should be equally as bold to start job hunting. ETA. If I were you, I'd set up an appointment with a lawyer and a notary to establish a will that states that the money will be left in the name of the grandchild, and can only be used for college expenses, tuition, books, etc. ASAP. You never know what might happen to you, and the last thing you want is your daughter squandering that money before the grandchild turns 18.
And once her college money runs out, which would be pretty soon, considering 3 people would be living off it, what then? Definitely not the asshole.